known as otherwise known as Genevievefirepoet. Welcome to Spoken World Online. Our feature is Genevieve Ray, also known as Genevievefirepoet, and I'll read her bio. It's brief. Before she begins, Genevieve is a spoken word artist and poet from Bedfordshire. Her work has been published in 17 magazines and anthologies. During her 6-year tenure in the theater, she worked as a director and playwright. Her first play, Prison, had a sellout run. I can't wait for this one. All right, here's Genevieve Ray. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David, and thank you so much, everyone. Already, what an absolutely blindingly great event. People have had so much fun. We've had transcendent music, both in writing and literally. Wowzer, I have to now catch up with all of that. Whew. Well, today when David asked me, well, what would you like to do as a theme? Would you like to do a theme? All I can think of is combine the two. So I shall be doing plays of both sides. I've got the record player style play. And the best way to start with any sort of comedic side of things is to basically take the piss out yourself. So I'm going to start with a piece called Gruvev. Jeannie, I dream of her. Jenny down the block from me. Geraldine loves to perform. Gwendolyn likes to paint. Jenna likes rock climbing. Georgina is an amazing dancer. Geneva is in Switzerland. Juanita is also not my name. I'm none of these women, nor the place of origin, but I get called it all the same. My, do I get called it all the same? I get it in the aspect. I'm here to test your spelling. My purpose is to spill pen ink, the humour and the shame. So thank you for the attempt. With the errant E's and secretive A's. Don't get into French pronunciation. You'll be factoring it in all day. Call me Jen if you struggle. Ms. Ray if you're nasty. Miss Ray if I teach you, and I will do the very best with your name. Signed, Genevieve, 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 Neg, Jenna, Jen applesauce, Jen the flower men, George, signed me, Genevieve. And that'd be piece number one. Now I'm going to do a little one from Easter time, which is about the way that art itself of being in nature can really draw in the theatre, especially when you're not expecting it. This is called A Star as Children. I saw 2 magpies, a sign for joy, the welcome to morning I had received by loved ones, sending 50 Easter wishes translated carefully. Children and spouses named and noted, 2 coming birthdays and a wedding. I crave silence on Easter. I like to hug spring in her verdant beauty, bathe in flowers, eat like a rabbit, and wander like my parents. Prone to tears, hay fever concocted, I cry because it blossoms. I cry because of cold winds. I shake a fist at the ancestors for these genetics, but I love them anyway. This is my private New Year. Winter is a cruel time to change, frozen in debt and scrutiny, and in my case, 1,000 birthdays. Here is the time for bud promises, for a summer I will hold on to, with a niece just big enough for daisy chains. As I finish this, I am counting dandelions, rather than my weight in an attached photo that will come with the poem. I call Ma and Isis and Artemis to my door to welcome them. The love of the universe. A hug that I felt in my dreams last night. And that'll be piece number 2. I will also ask David if he needs to send a hook my way when I run out of time. Right, what are we feeling? I think it's time for a little bit of theatre with a twist. I've never really liked how Ophelia ends in the play of Hamlet. It always really irritated me. So I thought I'd give it quite a spicy twist by crashing it with a bit of rap. So this is Ophelia. I'll do it the first time at whatever speed my mind lets me do it, and I'll do it slower so you can hear the words. Ophelia. Ophelia sits in a garden of corn. She's picking up weeds for her heart to adorn. She's given up distance. She's given up space. In the primrose of her tomorrow, she's losing the race. She's surrounded by pink flowers. She doesn't know their name. She wants to dip her feet in the river of her shame. But as much as she is lonely, as much as she's alone, she's singing to the insects, she's talking to the stones. The woods are growing over her, building roots from her soul. She's sinking into the ether, into the grasses of her throne. She ignores the distant rumbling of society pointing blame for sitting in separations, floating in her fame, failing. A wax smile continuity and all paint blush, sidestepping out of reality, green feet under brush, stalking in the silence where the art harlots roam. She's building a daisy chain fortress. This is her tomb. This is her home. And the playful thing is, I do it again, much slower, for the enjoyment of the visuals. Ophelia. Ophelia sits in a garden of corn. She's picking up weeds for her heart to adorn. She's given up distance. She's given up space. In the primrose of her tomorrows, she's losing the race. She's surrounded by pink flowers. She doesn't know their name. She wants to dip her feet in the river of her shame. But as much as she is lonely, as much as she's alone, she's singing to the insects, she's talking to the stones. The woods are growing over her, building roots from her soul. She's sinking into the ether, into the grasses of her throne. She ignores the distant rumblings of society pointing blame for sitting in separation, floating in her fame, failing a wax smile continuity and an all paint blush, sidestepping out of reality, green feet under brush, stalking in the silence where the art harlots roam. She's building a daisy chain fortress. This is her tomb. This now is her home. And that's piece number 3. I think it's perfect time for a little bit of a story. I have been teaching for a while in Luton and a few other places, poetry to young people. And they gave me a prompt because I was trying to teach them how poetry prompts work. And they said, try and combine gardens and teaching. And I was like, thanks, kids. Okay. So this is called They Were Already Trees. They were already trees when I first met the saplings, their branches overburdened with fruit born of family, the sway of work and study, the expectations of bounty. They were already trees when I first sought a fountain, the soil of English language education, home nutrients of culture and cultivation. My water can was handcrafted. Would it hold enough for the mission? They were already trees. And he's a good gardener who listens, watch the natural bend in the branches, forage only for reoccurring fruits, the nuts, the seeds, or the blossoms, learning each type, each rhythm. They were already trees, so thus nurture will go with them. Conscious to make sure that each may spread their canopy, do the best not to let one shoot across the other one, or be overshadowed and underregarded. They have overtook me. And truly, they are now a forest. That gives you number 4. Am I doing all right for time, by the way, David?
Absolutely.
Amazing. Right. Then something a little bit different, a little bit transient. I did actually pick one to play your record player. This is what I imagine the afterlife might be like if there is one at all. Heaven's clubhouse, beautiful fatalists. Place your hand in mine as the beat cancels all memory of human life. Nirvana stairway, sinking into the ego, into the next plane of existence as an unseen DJ, It's just past the horizon. A single dance floor beyond the mist. Nothing has transience anymore. Time lacks continuity. Cocktails made of fairy fire, splashes of dread tequila, Milky Way fluid and rocket fuel, candy floss and cosmic horror. Sex Kitten Hill slip and slide on, fortunately heaven still has that apparently. Sex Kitten Hill slip and slide on the distractions of life's times, or get stuck into one spot, whatever a soul needs for its journey. One song that sounds like a million, and millions that sound like one voice. The melting desire of dream time, the solar drops from the ceiling. Paradise to me is a dance floor. Laughing, floating, failing as the shape of a soul dissolves, and the music is the last thing I'm conscious of.
You seem to be frozen. I don't know if it's just me.
She froze.
Yeah, she's frozen.
I'm sure you will come back, Genevieve. Let us wait. Let us pray. Let us play. All right. So 1 minute.
Wonder what happened.
David, when she comes on, give her an encore.
Sure. Yep. We'll have her when she comes back in. That's a great idea. Thank you. When she comes back in, we'll give her an encore. That's Henry.